This video took way too long. My room? I'm still unpacking. Will it ever get unpacked? There's still a hole in my wall. Courtesy of my uncle. Well, the outlet, it fucked up. I shouldn't be talking about this, given the video topic. I decided I know way too much about the most randomest of things. So, I guess I'm starting a new series. Basically being like, hey, here's my info dump. Enjoy it. This is the first thing of my new series. What we're gonna do is ignore the hole in the wall and process the information about the suicide forest. No, it's not a rock-on place. I know too much about. I probably should not know a lot about. So, we're gonna start a series, and the first installment of that series is about the suicide forest in Japan, aka Akigawa Forest, which is famous for its suicides. How the fuck? Some basic information about the suicide forest. In the year 1864, editing Sam here. What I said 1864. It was the year 864. I'm just stupid and probably have number dyslexia. Mwah. Mount Fuji experienced a violent 6-month eruption, which is a volcano in Japan. Buried entire villages and left a massive field of hardened lava, like all over the place. And over the past 1,000 years, a tangled forest that we know as the suicide forest. The forest grew on the mountain. There's translucent makeup powder on my laptop. And it became Akigawa, or the Japanese actually call it Jukai, which is Japanese for Sea of Trees. So you might be wondering why I got into the suicide forest, and you know what, even if you're not, I'm gonna fucking tell you. So fuck you. It was because I was traumatized. We were at their Halloween party, and it was a bunch of adults, I was 11, and somebody put on just random horror movies for the kids to watch, and there was such a shitty quality film about the suicide forest, and I cannot find it to this day because it was on one of those off-brand Halloween movie channels. So I need to put my tits away. I cannot find it to this day, but it traumatized me so bad that I decided that actually I kind of fuck with this place and I'm gonna look more into it. So I did, and I think what the part that traumatized me the most was this guy fell back, the ghosts in the forest fell back and pushed him and put a pole through his neck, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna look up this place. It stems from me being fucking traumatized, I guess. Because of that, I got really into watching. I was 11. I did a lot of weird shit when I was 11. Videos of people exploring this forest and going into this forest, and at the time I did not realize how disrespectful that could be and how fucking dangerous that is. I mean, I guess in my head I knew, but I was 11, so shut the fuck up. I'm not Logan Paul. This is not going to be a video where I display someone's body. This is, I guess, an educational, entertaining video regarding this place. I don't want to go to this, I have no desire to step into the suicide forest. There are trails before the suicide forest that, you could take pictures on, I think, but it has no bodies. Not a psychopath. Regarding that, at least. We're not Logan Paul in this shit. We hate that guy. I hope his brother gets his ass beat at his fight July 20th. And I also hope that Prime reaches its end, because it tastes like shit. In the years that have gone on since this forest was formed, the suicide forest was believed to contain Yuri, which are mythological Japanese ghosts filled with anger and vengeance. So they believed basically that these ghosts, these Yuri, will, even if you don't want to D-word in this place, they're gonna make it so you want to D-word in this place. You know? Because apparently it fuels them, it gives them power. So they're like, yeah, we need you dead, D-word. YouTube's not gonna like this video. Thank God I'm not monetized. I looked up how to pronounce this, and when it was told how to pronounce this, I kind of knew I was gonna butcher it, so I'm gonna put the name on screen. But this practice was, it roughly translates to basically like abandoning an old woman, in which it was a practice that villages did, that they would take the oldest woman there, and they'd take her to the forest, and they'd be like, you're starving, we don't have space for you, we're gonna leave you here. This would become vengeful and angry, and then they'd turn into these Yuris, and they would possess people that were just simply walking on the trails, or people that want to explore the fucking forest. During the Japanese times of the famine, but it's also, apparently it might be a folklore. I couldn't find any fucking evidence of it, if this is from, like, the year that fucking Attack on Titan was going on, apparently, in that timeline, because it's from the year, 864. A bit before my time? I was born in 2003. So, 864, I don't even know if I got family from back then, I don't know. That's where she goes to die. Jesus. I'm a deeply unserious person, and I so apologize. I really do. I really wanted to make this video because people, they romanticized the Suicide Forest and they misconstrued it, and I'm just here to tell you, you're gonna get possessed. You're gonna get possessed, and I don't think you should go in there. How it got a lot of attention was because in the 1920s, a woman named Kyoko threw herself into the fiery crater of Mount Miara. I hope I said that right. She fell in love with a female classmate, which 1920s Japan, they don't fuck with the gays. Also, if you hear me itching, it's because I live by the water and the gnats love me, and I look like I have withdrawals because there's bite marks all over my legs right now. He was forbidden to be gay. There was a book published in 1960 by Seiko Matsumoto, and it was a short story called Tower of Waves, where a couple that could not be together, two star-crossed lovers, forbidden, they could not be together. The woman in the couple wrote a letter to her lover, and then went to the forest and took a bottle of pills and killed herself, which really began the true romanticizing of the forest, because the book got really popular, and then couples were like, hey, we can't be together, we should go to this forest. The book has been turned into a lot of melodramas. A lot of movies are based off of it in Japan. I really want to buy the book myself, but to be honest, I don't have money, so I don't know if I'm gonna get that book. Story Tower of Waves, it incited a long-standing, curious aspect for Japanese couples. So, if there was, just a lot of Japanese couples killed themselves if there was tension and they just could not. Like family tension, they could not be together due to standing factors. Well, while they were like, forest started. Well, not all started, but 1920s, a girl killed herself. We have the gays to blame. Kidding? I'm bisexual. Please. 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 Japanese people followed in Kyoko's footsteps that could not find their place in life. A lot of couples that were forbidden really looked after the Tower of Waves book, and the forest itself just got really romanticized, which would mean it would start to crawl with ghosts if a lot of people are committing suicide. If these ghosts are there, if the Yuris are there, the Yuris were getting more powerful and just easily taking over people. I mean, obviously, sadly, there's some people that go there with the true intentions of killing themselves and not just walking the trail. There are people that are like, you know? And let me just say to that, that's not good. Don't kill yourself. Video's gonna get me canceled, I think. People are gonna be like, if you don't know how to address it, blah, blah. Man, obviously I don't want anyone to fucking kill themselves. But we're talking about the suicide forest, bro. Don't call the suicide hotline either. They don't do shit. They hung up on me when I was 13. So Tower of Waves was the beginning of how the suicide forest got popular. Then, in the 1990s, there was the complete suicide manual that mentions the suicide forest and how to in there, which is, I think, is fucking bonkers. That's a bonkers thing to publish. It was written by Wataru Tsurumi, and it was published in Japanese only. In 1993, this 198-page batter. What? Batter? 1993, the book was published, and it has 198 pages on how to kill yourself. What publishing company put that through and was like, yeah, that's a good idea? Even though we have the romanticized suicide forest that everyone's killing themselves at. Like, what? Even if I could find the book, I can't read it because I don't know Japanese. But he discussed, like, every form that you could do, like hanging, jumping, carbon monoxide, sleeping pills, to ensure what he calls a successful outcome. Personally, I think we should have just, like, put this man to get help and not published his book. But on top of, like, the Tower of Waves romanticizing, his book also romanticized the shit out of the suicide forest. So he was basically saying, like, it's a great place to disappear in. I don't know. I just don't think we should be giving possibly young people tips on where and how to commit suicide. I don't know what was going on in 1993. I still had 10 more years until I was even, like, a thought in anyone's mind. So he would emphasize the fact that, like, no one's gonna find your body because it's such a dense forest that your loved ones will never have to find your body, and you can just disappear if you really wanted to. And so a lot of people took that and they ran with it. And then what ended up happening is that a lot of people that they find are actually discovered with the suicide manual. So, once again, who approved of that? According to the government, the Japanese government, there are more than 100 suicides committed in the suicide forest just between 2013 and 2015 alone, which is when I think YouTube really started to get into suicide forests and, like, social media, and they were like, there's this weird forest in Japan that people are killing themselves at, and content creators saw that as an opportunity. Logan Paul, what was it, 2017? 2016. One of those fucked up years. He did that. In the beginning of the year, actually, we didn't even get a break. The Japanese government no longer gives statistics on how many people are found and how many people commit suicide or try to, because they don't want to encourage anything. And I guess they think if they give numbers out, people are going to be like, I can get that up. That's bad. That was bad. Mount Fuji, just like a lot of other mountains in Japan, is considered a sacred space. And monks will actually, for over 1,000 years, monks have gone to this forest and done their practices, which result in their death. That sounds like I'm not educated on it. I'm not fully educated on it. I don't want to say something that's wrong and then, like, the monks are dying. The monks let themselves die in the forest. Okay? Because all this romanticizing was going on, the suicide manual, still bonkers to me. Tower of Waves from the 1960s. Because all of this was going on and people decided they wanted to go into this forest like TFIL, which I will admit, when I first discovered this place, TF5L's Suicide Forest video was my favorite video to use to research and like understand it. But God, is it fucking terrifying. I don't know if Elton or them really bumped it up for views, because when it first came out I was like 14. I'm 21 now, so I don't know if they were like doing all that for views, but at the time it was fucking crazy to me. Pretty sure someone pukes in that video. Once again, it could have all just been fake. I don't know, but I've watched a lot of videos on the Suicide Forest and people that go to the Suicide Forest and don't show dead bodies. Logan Paul. I do feel like a sense of like, I'm gonna be sick, I'm gonna throw up. But it's also, like I said, it's a very dense place. And there's actually a lot of iron there. There's a lot of iron within this forest. I don't know about you guys, but I'm iron deficient. So if I'm around a lot of iron, I suddenly have to throw up. Or if I near Iron Man. Do not let me near Iron Man. Creators decide to explore it and not in a respectful way. You know, I keep bringing him up, but it's just because obviously I knew what the Suicide Forest was before 2017, because I think I was 14 at that point, so I had known about it for like 3 years. And when I found out that he filmed a fucking body, I was pissed. I was livid, as most people were, and I think that's how a lot of older generations that kind of had no idea what the fuck the Suicide Forest was realized what it was, and then they kind of saw it as this like place that people go to explore. It's just not. It shouldn't be. It is a place that people go to explore, but it just should not be a place that people go to explore. I don't know about you. I love going to abandoned places. If somebody told me there's about a 90% chance you're gonna walk into somebody who sadly committed suicide in there, I'm not fucking going in there. And the way you have to navigate this forest, you have to leave like little post-it notes on like trees and shit, and people use these landmarks. There's 2 major landmarks, which is a tent that's been there for, God, as long as I've been watching these videos, which is 10 years. Every video I see, these people use this tent as a landmark, and thank God I've never seen anyone actually go to the tent, because I feel like there would just be a decaying corpse there. And then people also use, there's an umbrella that somebody left that people use as another landmark. But you can very easily get lost in this forest because it all looks the fucking same. It's a dense forest, especially at night. It's a dense ass place to be in, but it's hot. I had to turn off my AC for this video. It's getting hot. Guys, don't go into the Suicide Forest. I mean, I feel like that would be pretty self-explanatory, especially after Logan Paul's incident. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just don't do that. I don't know how else to say it. You think it would be common sense to be like, yeah, let's not go into the place called Suicide Forest that's possessed by Yuri and other, like, spirits and ghosts and shit that could, even if you don't want to, it could make you wanna. So, listen, I've had my suicidal tendencies, but good lord. I'm gonna end the video here. I have a list of things I know way too much about. Maybe I'll put them on my screen so you guys can tell me which one you want to see. Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm gonna hope that I can post this video and that I didn't yap too much, and that I just really hope I wasn't insensitive. I don't think I was.